The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 26th day of April, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Elindo's, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. What a weekend it has been in Bermuda Maya had a longer weekend than me, but, she needs an assistant, so I got to go everywhere with her. How was your weekend, audience? What did you do? How much fun did you have? I actually question folks who say there's nothing to do in Bermuda because I'm tired. I'm tired, man. So to give you context, Maya's been going since last week. She hosted an wellness event at Hamilton Princess last week. Then on Friday, she's going to be sharing in her news break. She attended a really cool event by Kristen White. And then I arrived, and that's when the real fun started, right? I'm joking. That's when, it got annoying for, how I am. And we we realized late that the end-to-end was on Saturday. So yeah, we changed our plans and woke up at like 5 a.m. and I'm stretching. It was like more like 5:45. I pretended like I was up at 5 a.m. so that Maya would ease me up for being late. I want to kind of put it on the driver. But anyway, made it to St. George and we got some great footage. If you follow us on Instagram, you saw some footage of the end-to-end enders down there. And so after that, we actually, audience, by a show of hands, yes or no, has anyone in the audience ever been to Lily Bermuda, the perfumery in St. George, to make perfume? Like, has anyone ever experienced that? Well, Maya and I, we went to Lily Bermuda. We were invited down. She invited us on this show when she came, and we went and we made some of our own. Yeah, you can make your own. We made our own scents, and I'm pretty sure mine smelled better than Maya's. Yeah, I think mine smelled better than Maya's. I think she's got to give me that one. I don't beat her in many things, but I think I had the best scent that's ever been made. I think it was so good that, well, I'm not gonna lie, I can't put that on. It was so good that you would buy it. So if you've never experienced it, I would encourage you all to go check it out. Bermuda Girl says, yeah, she's done it before. And Suzanne Ingham says, I went there for lunch only. So you did the tea. Yeah, Maya and I didn't do the tea. Maybe next time. We just had so much to do, but we definitely enjoyed very much the experience. So again, if you're looking for something to do in Bermuda, I've never done a sip and paint, but I've seen like videos and stuff. It kind of reminded me of that kind of activity. So if you've ever done something like, you enjoy those kind of activities, you got to have patience. It's like 90 minutes. We really, really had some fun doing that. So shout out to Lily Bermuda down there, Isabel Ramsey Brackstone doing the work and keeping things exciting. Laverne Tucker also says, yes, quite an experience. All right. What else did we do? After that, we had a wonderful lunch at Whitehorse. Big ups to Denny O'Connor down there. Really, really great experience for Maya and myself. And we did some work with Whitehorse last year when we did the restaurant crawl, the TDH community. And it's just amazing. And I said to Maya when we were there, I was like, man, this guy deserves an award for his dedication to an industry that people seem just to be not interested in anymore. So, the dance floor up there, the old British pub feel, the Bermudianisms in terms of the menu, incredible. So props to Danny. And if you haven't been in Whitehorse in a long time, please go check it out. We enjoyed it. Like I mean, we enjoyed it. Maya and I ended up getting the same thing actually. What did we get? Chicken curry or something like that. Really, really nice. So if you enjoy that stuff, I'm just going to my notes because we did so much this weekend that I have to share with you all. And if I don't share it with you all, you're going to be upset. The USATF. Did anyone attend the USATF yesterday? Anyone go up to the stadium? Because it was full. It was packed. It was packed. It was quite an experience. I just want to hats off to the Bermuda Tourism Authority and is it BNAA or BNNA? But props to them. Obviously, our Bermudian athletes. Look, no matter where our athletes finish, they deserve our support. Incredible local support, and I'll always be proud of anyone who trains as hard as they train to be successful in what it is that they do. So props to Dage and Janai putting on a show for us yesterday. Had the crowds behind them, and we're really, really wishing them and hoping for the best for these gents that they can, achieve their dreams of making it to the Paris Olympic Games this summer. So sending out them and huge props to them. Let's go. Tanya Cheeseman says, "Happy Monday, Jamal and Maya. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. I surely enjoyed the USATF yesterday. We didn't see you. Suzanne Ingham says, awesome day, Jamal and Maya. Yes, an awesome day to you too. Angela, Tanya Cheeseman said, happy Monday, Jamal and Maya. Oh, I read that already. And then Manuela John, yes, you won tickets last week. You are welcome. And she said she went. And Jackie, you said, thoroughly enjoyed myself. Shout out to our athletes. Yes. Well, I haven't even greeted you all this morning. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We have a good one today as we welcome Marlon Williams on from the Association for Corporate Racial Equity, known as ACRE. We're going to be discussing some of the work that they are doing. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Yeah, it was kind of chilly up the stadium yesterday, right? It was very chilly up there. And, I just want to address something because there's a lot of, I'm going to call it hate going around. There's a lot of hate going around. So I had on red yesterday, and apparently I used to trash talk a lot when it came to cop match. There's rumors, edited videos and stuff of me going around, trash talking some years ago. Well, yesterday, one of our beloved Olympians, Qatar Horton Patrick, decided to take video of me and share it to the world, right? And basically act as if I'm trying to come over. Let me be very clear. I made a New Year's resolution that I will not trash talk during Cup match this year. I will not trash talk Somerset this year. You're not going to pull it out of me, no matter how hard you try. I am a changed man for a reason. All right? Now, that said, let me see if Maya's ready for the news break. And bring Maya in so that we can have an extended conversation with our guest for the day, Mr. Marlon Williams from ACRE. All right, so bear with us as Maya comes in, and trust me, she's had a full weekend, so you all are in for a treat.
Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
Man, it really has been a full weekend, Jamal. Like, it's been quite amazing, just a couple of days in Bermuda, just busy. Good weather as well. So I hope everyone's feeling good and had a great time too.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, man. Even for 2 seconds, I couldn't find Maya a lot yesterday. She's down that end. She's there. And then Mr. Photogenic, he's like, look, we could go do some shit because we had to do some Bermuda tourist stuff. So I'm like, well, let me make sure somebody's covering. So, big shout out to Keitha. Keitha was there supporting us, helping us, making sure the equipment was straight. We appreciate you, Keitha, because if you know Keitha Keitha is a numbers person only. She doesn't push go on or off. That's just not her thing. But thank you to Keitha for showing up and actually making sure Maya and I ate something too. Yeah.
Definitely.
When you're working that crazy, it's hard to remember the important things like self-care, right? It is, because you're worrying about doing everything else for everyone else. And I hope people realize that. But nah, big props to you, MP. And you're just like this Energizer Bunny. Again, man, you be doing it. But I think the community appreciates it. And it was a joy to watch people. Well, let me apologize before I say this to Maya. If you said Jamal over the weekend and spoke, and I spoke back and I didn't recognize you, that's because I'm like my eyes, right? Like I'm not able to recognize people as I'm going. And then I have my sunglasses on because my eyes are sensitive. So it's not me being unmannerly like I don't know you. Just bear with me. Give me grace with it. I'm dead serious. I'm not cracking jokes. I am dead serious with that. So please forgive me. Now, Maya, on the other hand, it makes me so happy to see. Was that one of your former teachers that came up yesterday and I saw a picture?
Yeah.
When I see that, and then the funny part of me is when people come up and start talking about COVID to you, right? Like, oh yeah, I remember you got me through COVID and in the press conferences. But it's just amazing to see the support that people continue to give you and get behind you and congratulate you. And yeah, keep doing what you do, MP. But make sure you eat and we eat.
I must say, this year at the USATF Games was a lot better for me personally as a media outlet with having Jamal and Keitha there. Seriously, I just recall last year having to always carry everything and not being able to go where I want to go and yada, yada, yada. Now that I have a team here, I'm like, oh, hold that. And then I can just like run off and I do what I need to do. So like, it made a huge difference. Like, wow, it's so nice having a team.
I want to say this, and this is not a shot to anyone else, because honestly, I love and appreciate Earl Beers, and we do. Like, Earl is like a national treasure in terms of how he's continued to highlight sports. But one of the things I'll say, and I don't say this just because, we're on a team together, but I think we were legit the first ones there and the last to leave as far as media, right? And yeah.
I mean, I showed up super early. You were there when I walked up and I approached. I saw you. Look, Jamal might not be able to see everyone always, but with that hat that he wears and that bright blazer, I'm like, well, we all see you. So yeah, that's the first time I peeped in, and then setting up and getting all my outlets plugged in. Like I remember last year, I was like, I can't use more than one outlet. Let me get my extension cord. Like it's all the type of things that you gotta like recall and try to like perfect yourself for the next time around. So it was really awesome to be there, and we got so much footage, so much video, a lot you're gonna see on this news break. So yeah.
I just want to say one more thing. So Maya, she teaches me well when we were at the broadcast conference. No, that's not how you do. Snap, 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 snap. So yesterday, what was I doing? Snap, 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 snap. So if you see really good stuff, trust me, it was probably one of 100 things that I snapped. But that's how we learn. That's how we learn, folks. That's how we learn. All right, what we got today?
Well, good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour News Break brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy, and this is your starting news break.
Nostalgic, because I'm from St. George's. It was really beautiful and amazing.
I felt inspired.
Warming, connected, important. I thought it was incredibly impressive. It treated serious subjects in a very sensible, understanding way, and the whole thing was just fun, but also raising important questions.
Well, those are the remarks of the crowd in attendance at the screening of local writer, resident and lover of St. George's, Kristen White. The owner of Long Story Short has accomplished a long dream of writing and directing her TV series called Town, with an E, paying homage to the town of St. George in a dramedy.
What we are creating right now is the culture, right? We are creating the culture. Yeah. So what your children, grandchildren, when they think about what is Bermudian culture, it's what artists are creating. It's what entrepreneurs and artists are creating. So, pay people money, buy the tickets for events. You see stuff popping up, shows, concerts. Pay. Go support them, because the money, when you're supporting a Bermudian creative, you are literally creating Bermudian culture.
Wow. I am extremely happy and proud, and I hope this is the beginning of something special. Congratulations to Kristen and everyone involved.
Yeah, definitely. So she shared at the end, well, obviously, after giving so many thanks to everyone who stepped up to be involved. Like, again, you need a big budget for these type of projects. So a lot of it came from a lot of people's love and commitment and belief that this is going to be something amazing and special. And again, part of the culture that they want to be connected with and be a part of. So she gave a lot of thanks. And the next steps for it is actually to put it into film festivals. So they are going to need a lot of money for that as well, because film festivals cost, but they are planning to have another screening of it because it was sold out for the first screening and people really loved it.
And that's great. That is great. That's the support. That's the local support many of us are looking for when it comes to our own productions. They are not cheap to put on. That's why we appreciate contributions from the audience and our partners to do what we do on this show.
Indeed. And yes, we all love to collaborate with each other and work together, but we all also need to be making money to continue doing what we have to do. So that's another reason there. Now, in other news, the Bermuda Police Service can confirm the arrest of a Royal Bermuda Regiment reservist at the Al Wade International Airport. The 47-year-old male was arrested following the discovery of items liable for seizure inside his luggage upon his return to the island on Saturday, April the 27th. Now, this matter is still under investigation, and they said there will be no further information given at this time.
I think that's unfortunate because regardless of how people think I feel about the regiment because of conscription, I think there are so many people who join to make a difference, a positive difference in our community. And there's always a bad apple or something. Now, again, this is alleged, nothing's been proven, but you know how the public opinion is. It's like you want to tarnish an entire organization for it. So my hope is that when things like this happen, lessons are learned and that people could just think deeper. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Well, as Jamal said earlier in the break this morning, the annual end-to-end did take place, and I got to speak to some people early in the morning about how they felt about participating in it and, you know, what it kind of means to them, what they're looking forward to, and here's a couple of their words.
It's a long walk. I never walked this long before, one end of the island to the other end. So, yeah, I've been not too full, you know?
Been doing this for now. This year will be my 15th. Today, I'm representing Special Olympics. I signed up to Special Olympics, so I'll be looking for them on the way there.
I just want to say congratulations to everyone who does that. 24 point something miles. You're amazing. I just hope that podiatrist gentleman, Mr. Francis, who was on, I hope that he has what you need on this Monday morning.
Indeed, yes. Well, one couple actually came all the way down from Connecticut, actually, and decided to do the end-to-end. So here's a little bit about their story, which is quite sweet.
I'm tired.
Good
it's a long walk.
And good energy, though. Good energy.
What made you do it?
Well, that's a long story, and actually, Stephen Wright put an article in the paper on the 24th about us coming down from Connecticut and had a death in the family. My dad died recently, and it was just, we had to get out and do something positive, and one of the charities was Alzheimer's and dementia, and that's where my mom is now. And yeah, it's so, he just died like 3 weeks ago. So it's been hard, yeah. So we're here to just get a change of scenery and recharge our batteries.
Oh, no. That was heartbreaking, but so warming at the same time.
Yeah, they are very sweet and they love Bermuda. They said that it's been an amazing couple of days here for them. And, you know, it's really helped them, you know, just the positivity, the weather as well. They said that even though people do complain about the wind, to them, it's been very beautiful and they're happy to be here.
You know what I find also is what she said at the beginning as well. Stephen Wright wrote something in the paper. And I know I don't need to say this too loudly, but folks, you know how you write those comments on the stories on the news? Those folks that you'd like to come and visit, they read them too. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, in your sports-related news, and this is about the USATF games, I'm just going to put up some images here. If you didn't get to go to it, these are some of the shots that we were able to take as a team of the games. Right there, you see Janai Panchief. That's when he actually got his PB, so he felt it and knew it right at the end there with his emotions. And then obviously you see some of the international athletes there that came down, high-end profile athletes that went into these races, like Noah Lyles. Everyone was very excited to see him here in Bermuda, competing on our home turf and getting to feel just the atmosphere of it all. There was a ton of people in the crowd, in the attendance, as you can like see in the other half. Like it was just packed, and it was just a great atmosphere, everyone there, and obviously big smiles and a lot of great energy that came out from this event. And yeah, our team got to be there and capture a lot of these awesome moments. So in that relation to all of that, Janai Panchief had a phenomenal showing at the USATF Games. While he didn't make his mark to qualify just yet, there are still more meets for the 2024 Paris Olympics. He did earn a new PB of 17.13 meters. And if I'm correct, I believe the qualifying jump that he needs is like 17.22. So he's well on his way. He's very close. And he also did a short distance jump off, actually. So it's a difference in the sporting world. So we're looking at something really good for him for the next time. But we did get to speak to Janai, and here's a quick part of that.
Janai, I know you're hoping for a qualifying time for this meet. How do you feel though? Because you still got a PB, so it's got to still be exciting, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Over the last couple of years, fighting injury, it's good to be able to jump healthy and actually almost go to a full series, and from short approach. So, I'm happy about that.
And what's up next for you in terms of qualifying for the Olympics? What's the next meet?
Jamaica, I think it's Jamaica Invitational or Races GT. I'm not really 100% sure, but I know it's in Jamaica, Kingston, May 10th or 11th.
How does it feel being home right now?
It feels good. I was actually able to, go through a full series of jumps in front of everybody. So I think that was my main goal coming into this, was just to actually, do what I do and show everybody that Bermuda can compete with the world.
Love it. I love it. It's incredible to see him yesterday, getting the crowd involved, the clap and all. So congratulations. And I can't make Jamaica to support him, but I know there's some Bermudians in Jamaica. Let's show up like the Jamaicans in Bermuda show up for their people.
Indeed. Yes, definitely. And as for our weather today, closing out, brief sunny periods, a chance of 1 or 2 showers toward the evening, and a bit of winds, and we got a high of 71. So not as great as the last couple of days that we had, but hopefully not too bad.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Maya. Appreciate that. Folks, days of the year. Today, we're going to go with it's World Wish Day. And World Wish Day is a day that celebrates wishes in all forms. But it was established by the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization founded in Phoenix, the United States. The purpose of the organization was to help terminally ill children achieve their wishes. They grant wishes for children between the age of 2.5 years old and 17 years old. That said, here's a pretty interesting question.
Okay.
Audience, please let us know. If you had one wish, what would it be? Maya.
Don't ask me a question.
No?
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know. I feel like if I had a wish, be to see my Uncle Mal or Bashir again.
Interesting, similar, because I feel the only one I can say is to bring my mother back. But then I would actually retract that and ask for 1 million more wishes. And in that way, I can bring so many more back. So that would be my wish. Audience, if you have any wishes, please share. Maya, thank you for everything we've done together this weekend. You have a wonderful day. Please get some rest and eat. Eat. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. My Palacio folks. Real quickly, those who don't know, this week is very, it's a milestone. And I before we go to commercial break and bring our guest on, I just want to share something with you. So you would know that I take great pride in this platform that has existed for 4 years this week and over 900 episodes. It's a news-focused talk show in which we discuss current events, celebrate and honor Bermudians, whilst also covering various issues of the day. We have shared this platform with some of Bermuda's most well-known faces and voices, elders, children, and even those who have much to offer beyond our shores. No matter how controversial some discussions may seem, we never stray too far away from our purpose, which is to improve our community one conversation at a time. In life, it's so important to never stop learning. After all, none of us will ever likely know it all. Lessons come in so many forms, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. But I want to get a bit personal real quickly. We live in a society in which we form opinions based on what we know. There are many people whose only knowledge of me is what they've been told by others, what they've seen on social media, or what I've said on this show. They've likely never had a conversation with me, let alone met me. However, their opinions are formed, wait for it, based on what they believe they know about me, not necessarily facts. My esteemed colleague Teo Dill used to always say, quote, "We're all hypocrites. Some of us just don't know that we are," end quote. That's a big problem because we become so comfortable in our hypocrisy that we call others out about not having facts, yet develop most of our daily opinions based on our emotions and feelings over facts. But let's get back to learning, because our opinions and perspectives, which we allow to shape our realities, they're not always based on facts. However, as long as we have life, we have an opportunity to learn and or educate. We can get upset about something that's said about us and look for sympathy, or we can simply choose to educate. And by educating one, you have the opportunity to educate many on whatever the topic of the day is. Now, let me address my position on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those who know me will understand that I believe in Black empowerment first and foremost. I'm not interested in fighting to be included in spaces where I'm not wanted nor respected. In a majority Black country, it should be a concern of every Black person that there's only one major Black-owned media company in inter-island communications. Our ancestors told us about the media. They told us about controlling our narrative, which is why we fight so hard to do what we do on this platform. So I'm not interested in going into other spaces and trying to make that difference. I'd rather make the investment our ancestors made and build our own. This is where the true power lies. This is where the true power is that Marcus Garvey spoke about. I want to see us empowered, so empowered that we're not fighting for raises and promotions, but for business ownership licenses and commercial business spaces. When I begin to see a majority Black Bermudian-owned reinsurance company, bank, grocery store, only then will I believe that we've made true progress. Call me out, because again, I'm doing my part in my industry. Lastly, we have a problem in the Black community. It's as if Black people shouldn't criticize or be able to hold Black leaders or organizations accountable. I've said on numerous occasions that I'm an equal opportunity offender. You laugh, but I'm serious. Malcolm X said, quote, "Wrong is wrong no matter who does it or says it," end quote. If a white man robs me and a Black man robs me, no matter the reasons for robbing me, they are both wrong. The moral of the story: I don't want either robbing me, nor should you. So I'm not here to criticize one race over another, one gender, culture, ethnicity, and I especially don't focus on sexuality. My focus is on mindset and actions. And if I deem your mindset and or actions a danger to the greater good of society's most vulnerable people, I will use our platform to challenge and change that. So in closing, as we grow, most of us evolve. I don't run from my words nor actions. I'm not here to be liked, loved, followed, none of that. However, I'm also not here to intentionally cause harm to others, be it emotionally, mentally, or physically. In this social media age, it's easy, so easy to get caught up in the hype and allow people to make us believe things that aren't true or right. I've recently learned to give people grace, and instead of being so quick to do the human thing and judge or react based on my emotions, I try to understand them. Through understanding is an opportunity. That opportunity could be the one that changes all of our fortunes for the better. It's time for us as a community to heal. It's time for us to grow. And I say all of this in love, with love, all love. We're going to take a quick break, come back. We've got Marlon Williams from ACRE. Stick with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes, 24 seconds.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
It took 14 days to build your business plan. 6 months to build the courage to leave your day job. 3 weeks to find the perfect location. It took 10 days to outfit your space just right. And 1 day before your first client walked in the door. All totaled, it took you a full year to get your business operational. And this is just the beginning. To the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, the people that shape our economic community, we salute you and are here for you every step of the way, providing knowledgeable, progressive, professional, and innovative support to Bermuda businesses.
Noah's Ark, the largest and most trusted pet supply store for almost 30 years. Not only have you watched us grow, but we've grown together, keeping the needs of your pets first, offering advice and giving back to the community. Shop online, choose delivery, or visit us in Devonshire. And with the Egg Show in view, we will continue our yearly support and help you find everything you need for one of Bermuda's most favorite community events. See you soon.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Jamal Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's give a warm TDH welcome to our guest for the day. We've got Marlon Williams coming on from, they call themselves ACRE. That's how it's pronounced. People were on me about that all weekend, but we got it right today. ACRE, folks. Let's bring Marlon Williams on. All right, calm down. They're going crazy for you, Marlon. They're going crazy for you. Oh, you're muted. Can't hear you. Are you? We're on mute. Nope, it's still muted. Not sure. Are you? I don't know. Don't worry, audience. You know this happens. I cannot unmute him, so it would have to be on his end. So what I'll say, Marlon, is leave the studio, then come back in. All right, leave and then come back in. All right, Marlon's going to leave, then come back in. And I did ask before I started giving the anniversary chat to you all words. I did ask if you had a wish, what would it be? And Tanya Cheeseman did say world peace. Karen Simmons said, I wish to see my best friend and older brother here again. Angeline Butler said to meet my grandparents who I never met. All right. All right, let's bring Marlon in. Let's see if we're good to go. Marlon.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, we are good. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you so much for joining us today. And it's early. It's early. A lot of people, man, you guys can't do this later. I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's a great time to catch people.
All right, man.
But no, thank you for doing this, Marlon. And obviously, there were comments made last week, and this platform is here for anyone to come on, have conversations, straighten us out, add to the value, enhance the conversation, grow the conversation, and really not just educate us, but to educate the audience. So thank you for making time so fast, because I believe that this was all finalized yesterday morning. So thank you. Before we jump in, just tell us a bit about your background and what it is that you do in the international business sector.
Absolutely. So my role is currently with Hiscox Re and ILS. I'm a senior underwriter in the international cat space. And that's a lot of words. What it effectively means is that I manage the portfolio out of Bermuda with some really accomplished professionals, and we specialize in property cat business.
Okay. Sounds too complex for me.
It's not, it does sound complex, but there are complexities for sure, but it's not overly complex. We manage portfolios of risk, and the reality is, it's like most of us do this in areas of our lives without us having those fancy titles to it.
I must ask though, like, how did you, what led you your path into the IB sector? What led you in that direction?
I started in reinsurance law. I tried Sterling and Volodetsky, worked with my good friend and brother Barclay Simmons. And during my time there, it was a law firm specializing in reinsurance litigation and arbitration. And that was my first view into reinsurance. We were litigating a case involving an insurance company and its own captive. And aside from the legal issues, it was a pretty interesting experience looking at insurance and reinsurance through a legal lens. And so that was my introduction to it. And then moved into reinsurance directly, working for a layer group under Andre Perez. And that was about 23 years ago, since which I've been through MaxRe, Altera Markel, same building, 15 years, survived 2 mergers and acquisitions, and been with Hiscox now for about just over 3.5 years.
Oh, congratulations. And it's interesting, you say survived acquisitions and mergers. It's like, those are bad words in the industry, it seems, because people always like, merger acquisition means I might be out of a job. So happy to hear that. We're here today. We're going to be talking about the Association for Corporate Racial Equity. And for those who may not know, what is the association? What is ACRE, and what's your role within the organization?
Good question. So my role is co-chair of the organization, and I also lead advocacy. We've organized ourselves around 3 pillars, which I'll talk about a little later. But perhaps just a little bit on the beginning of it. ACRE started just over 3 years ago. And it was really started to address some of the issues that we were seeing and feeling in the international business arena as Black Bermudian professionals. We hear a lot of stories about, the Black experience and the lived experience and what that actually means and what that feels like. And so we started collating that information and collecting that information. We started by holding sort of roundtable talks at AXA XL. They were gracious enough to loan us their space. And we were pulling Black professionals in and just talking about their experience. And the more people talk, the more you realize that the experiences, weren't that different from one company to the next. And in addition to collecting that qualitative information, we also work with the Department of Statistics to put together the quantitative data. And I think you referenced it on Friday's show, I believe it was. You're saying you've seen the stats released by the Department of Statistics. ACRE was heavily involved in working with the Department of Statistics to put that information together. And with that qualitative and quantitative aspect put together, we had a pretty compelling case and story to take back to the industry, right, in terms of the conditions on the ground, and to work with the industry to make some positive changes and to also challenge the industry in other areas. And the data was the foundation of that. And so, we've set about doing a lot of really, really important work. it comes out of, is that a personal risk to us professionally? We think, put it this way, there's no guarantee that it's going to be a professional downside to it, but there's no guarantee that it's not going to be. But we do that eyes wide open. We've met with a lot of individuals, CEOs down, who've been very supportive of the work that we do. But no doubt there are people who are on the sidelines, vocally objecting to some of the data, and probably quietly objecting to it as well. But be that as it may, that's okay. It's not going to deter us from pushing the envelope.
Yeah, I was wondering, and thank you for sharing. I was wondering how it was being received, because I know in the United States, especially in the state that I call home in Florida, when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, I mean, they're trying to ban it everywhere, right? And I was wondering, when you started to know, how has it evolved? Have the corporations been more welcoming over time, or are they starting to respond like many states in the U.S. as if, no, it's DEI is now discriminatory?
Yeah, it's a good one. So, I mean, when we first started, reception was good. I mean, we didn't really have any overwhelmingly negative experiences in the beginning. We did have a lot of time to talk. We talked to a lot of the stakeholders in the industry about the data, what inputs were used to make it up, how are we coming to our conclusions, what assumptions are being used, and we were very transparent about all of that, because we don't want to tell a narrative that isn't true. But the narrative that we do tell is true, and it is directionally relevant. And it's been a pretty warm welcome. Now we've had definitely naysayers and people push back on certain things, but that's a part of any process of making change, and that's okay. We do try to handle that, as adults, and sometimes we have to agree to disagree, and that's fine. We know what we're here to do and what we hope to accomplish during our time that we have in the industry. So I'm not going to be there forever. And for the time I am there, we want to have a meaningful impact. Yeah, indeed. And what does diversity, equity, and inclusion look like to ACRE? So the diversity has really become a very broad term. And I'm not saying that as a negative, it's just a fact of the matter. Once upon a time, if you were talking about diversity, we were talking about race, and now it encompasses a much more broad spectrum of things. For ACRE, we are focused on Black diversity. And the reason why we sharpen our focus like that is we were advised very early by Patrick Tannick and others that, you can't boil the ocean, right? And to really sharpen your focus on things that you think that you can impact, things that you can affect, and things that we can push forward. And so we certainly felt like Black diversity was, and still is in a lot of ways, the thing that falls at the bottom of a lot of conversation, because it is a prickly issue to contend with, right? But if we could create a space and an organization that's specific purpose is to deal with that particular issue, and allow CEOs and HR departments and managers a space to ask those questions and to get real feedback, with no concern that the thing that they ask or say shows up on the front page of the newspaper. We take a very grace-based approach to it. You had mentioned that also in your monologue just now, but that's been the approach of ACRE since the very beginning, to approach this thing with grace, to not expect people to have all the answers to the issues that we face as an industry, as a country, right? And but the premise being that we are better together, and that we can solve a lot of these things together. And so that's been the approach. And I think if you ask me how it's changed, I really do think that ACRE's been hugely pivotal in keeping Black issues at the fore. If you allow people, and this is anybody, Black, white, or any wonderful shade in between, people do what they're comfortable with, right? And so, having uncomfortable conversations is not necessarily something that people will run toward. And so, we do try to keep Black issues to the forefront, and we do it in a graceful way. Yeah, I think honestly, that's probably the most warming thing that I've heard anyone representing DEI say. I was at a conference in Palm Beach Convention Center last August, and I stood up in this room. I think we're having a bit of challenge with Marlon, folks. So here we go. I think he's back. Yeah, sorry, Marlon, lost you for a quick second. But I was saying I was in a convention for diversity, equity, and inclusion,
Florida last summer in Palm Beach Convention Center, and I stood up in this room and I said at the time that I feel as if Black movements, which I used George Floyd as an example, that was being used for every other group to latch on to DEI, and the Black folks get forgotten about. And a Black woman stood up in there and said, well, diversity, equity, inclusion is not just about race. What about this group, that group, and that group? A white woman then said, no, but to his point, there's no group in this hemisphere that's been more marginalized than Black people. Every other group you'll see represented at the top, and she gave an example. So I'm grateful for you explaining that there's a particular focus on Black diversity. Now, I want to get into how ACRE's achieving its goals, but to give context as to why we wanted to have you guys on so quickly to explain things. We were having a conversation about a photo that a lot of people were responding to that had nothing to do with ACRE. It was, I believe, Aber had posted the picture. And it was some visitors from London, and a lot of people had issues with it. Me, I particularly didn't, but there were comments made on this show by my colleague who is thanking you for joining us this morning, my beloved sister Sancha. But I just want to share it for context for people before we ask about some of the things that you're doing. So I'm going to share this. It's 1:09, folks.
You have ACRE, right? The Association for Corporate Racial Equality. To me, it just says, I always wonder, and they may come for me. I see they do a lot of gatherings and let's get together, let's support each other, but I always wonder what's the real work that's being done. I've seen the barbecues and let's meet at Pier 6 and in the park, but in those rooms, and I'm not saying it's not being done, I would like to know what that work looks like. I'm happy that we were able to look at what ACRE, am I saying it right? ACRE is doing in this space, and I would love to have them on because, I see that they have these gatherings and I see all these beautiful Black faces, and it's a lot of them, Jamal, in this insurance industry, and I would love to hear what they're doing and what they see the industry needs and the direction that we need to go in. So that's a positive that came out of this conversation this morning.
So with that said, I didn't know anything about the organization outside of my colleague Larry, who was going to do this show with me today. He's attended the events. He enjoyed them. He understands what you're doing and loves it. My colleague Sancha, basically her opinion was reflective of many who are not in that space because they just see the pictures and the like we develop opinions, as I said earlier, based on what we see. So what is, and apologies about the pronunciation, but how is ACRE going about achieving its goals beyond like what people see? Because people will form opinions based on what they see and know, right?
Yes, absolutely. So ACRE's organized itself around three distinct pillars, right? And what I want to do is probably touch on those pillars and the kind of work that has been happening underneath those pillars, just to give you guys and your audience a wider context of the extensive work that's going on. We've organized ourselves around three pillars: advocacy, community, and education, right? And what advocacy looks like for ACRE is, Jamal, I can't tell you how many one-on-one coffees each of us have had with young Black Bermudians who are looking to either get in the industry or who are already in the industry and looking to get to the next level. Those who are in sort of middle management, senior professionals, and what the next steps look like for them. And also, you want one-on-one engagements with very senior individuals in the industry. So lots of one-on-one conversations. It's a huge time commitment to do that. We do a lot of mentoring and a lot of sponsoring. And for those who may not be familiar with those terms, everyone will know what mentoring is, but sponsoring is us speaking people's names in rooms that they are not in, and also encouraging others to do the same, right? And there's a risk that comes when you recommend someone, right? They have to perform. And so, we knowingly take that risk. We get involved in recruitment efforts. We have sometimes companies do it that are looking to diversify a panel of candidates for any particular job opening. Oftentimes we get a call and say, hey, listen, we're looking for, this, and we're looking for Black people, Black Bermudians specifically. Who do you guys know? Who do you have? Who can you recommend, right? So we do a lot of that work. So the Department of HR professionals is something that we do. We've hosted several CEO roundtables, which have been private events, but you imagine the commitment it takes for 20 CEOs of Bermuda insurance and reinsurance companies to have, not one, but a number of conversations around issues affecting Black people in the industry specifically. It's a huge time commitment, right? And so, we've been privileged to be able to do that through ABIC and ABER. We've been used as a DEI, a strategy sounding board. We get involved in corporate seminars. We speak on numerous panels, including Dive In. We show up in reinsurance magazine publications. And, last week, Friday, we had the privilege of meeting with Minister Jason Haywood, which was a really good talk with him with respect to retaining local labor in the workforce. And so, we are, reaching out, the outreach is spreading, as it were, in terms of like the things that we do get involved in. And those are some of the things that fall under the umbrella of advocacy. The thing that Sancho was talking about, and full disclosure, I know Sancho. I consider Sancho to be a very good friend. So just full disclosure there. And she almost got it right, but we'll talk about that afterward. But the thing that she was referencing was the gatherings, right? And that falls under community, and community is led by Jasmine De Silva. She's our director of community. And so just to give a little bit more context around that and why that's so important is because when I joined the industry, nothing like that existed, right? And if you talk to sort of Black communities who are a generation ahead of me, they weren't even remotely close to that. But for Black comedians now today, having an organization that has collated a lot of information. So for example, we didn't know who we were. We didn't know where we were. We didn't know how many of us there were, what we were doing, how long we were doing it for. There was no hub. There was no Black network that existed prior to Jasmine and Deshae putting that together. And, that's a huge benefit for Black people, right? And so I think one of the things that caused the comment to land the way it did, right, was it was undermining the importance of that particular work. And to your point, if you're not in this space, I got grace for that. That's fine, right? But the importance of those networking events is not just people like showing up, having a beverage and backslapping. That is the actual work of the industry, right? So like jobs in our industry get passed around via a network, and Black people didn't have one. You know what I mean? So like if you wanted to find out about opportunities, by the time the thing shows up in the paper and the press, these guys have already fielded and sourced a number of candidates. And that's normal practice, not just in our industry, in several industries, right? And so we just didn't have a seat at the table. But now we do in a more meaningful way. And the other thing that's significant that takes place at those events is we're taking people who are at the beginning of their careers, people who are not in the industry and desire to be. We've got people at, my level and others, and people who are more senior than me, CEOs, who show up to those events, and we put them all in one place for the specific purpose of making those connections. So if you were a young person wanting to know what it takes to be an actuary or an underwriter or a marketing professional or IT professional, or you want to understand anything about the industry that's not obvious, you now have a network that you could tap into to have that one-on-one time. It's a lot of like one-on-one meetings that come out of those particular events where people are being mentored, they're being sponsored, they're being nourished, they're being educated. And that thing didn't exist prior to ACRE putting it together. And so we certainly take our hat off and thank Jasmine and Deshae for that great work. And the last pillar that we organize ourselves around is the education pillar, right? Because so much of what we do is, it's not just insurance and reinsurance focused, right? We're looking at, how do we educate our community for those who are not in, to educate them about the space? What does it mean to be an insurance and reinsurance professional? What are the hard and soft skills that you need to know to get in? Same for the people who are currently in it. What do you need to do to get to the next level? And it's a lot of work. So, for example, one of the things that we did, we held a 3-part series with Mrs. Angela Joe, right? And host was kind enough to Chubb was kind enough to host us. Shout out to Chubb for doing that work. And it was on building wealth, right? Generational wealth specifically, right? So not even just like what you do inside the industry. What are you doing with the finances and capital that you generate in the industry? How do you deploy that? Where do you put that? How do you set yourself up and your children up and your children's children up, right? And that was hosted. Again, that was a 3-part series hosted by, it was sold out. Over 200 black professionals showed up for that event. It's really important work. We also, in partnership with Willis Towers Watson, hosted at XXL, put on a career shifters event. It was one of those things that was, the first of its kind in Bermuda, where you have professionals in other industries. So banking and law and IT and whatever, right? These are sharp people in their own right, established professionals in their own fields. But in insurance and reinsurance, we speak a different language, right? So how do we connect those dots for people to help them understand that the vast majority of skills that you have are actually transferable, and given your background, these are the kinds of jobs that you should be looking for. And so we hosted this event for 100 professionals, and we pulled together leaders like, CEOs of companies and really senior managers, and set one senior manager or CEO at a table and put 10 career shifters with them and one representative of ACRE at each table. And they were able to have one-on-one conversations. It's like that kind of opportunity and space just didn't exist prior to. So really proud of that work. The last couple of things I'll probably mention is, on our LinkedIn platform, we have over 2,000 followers. We have over 800 members inside of ACRE. And we use our platform very similar to how you use yours, right? In terms of highlighting things that you think are important. For us, we are promoting educational opportunities and shining a spotlight on each other, all things Black excellence. And so, again, it's a really important work, specifically in a community as small as Bermuda. You can have a pretty meaningful impact by taking someone who would otherwise be relatively less known and really shine a spotlight on them immediately in your own country. It's a really powerful thing to do. And last thing, on the education platform, we recently held a symposium for Black men on navigating horizons, where we had like some really impressive brothers on the stage talking about their journey, about their careers, and how they got from one stage to the next, and left a lot of time for Q&A, for people to ask whatever's on the heart, and really try to address those things openly and honestly. And so, again, those are the 3 pillars: advocacy, community, and education. And it's been a lot of work that's going on in the last 3 years. I mean, you have to remember and appreciate that the people, of those of us who are involved and running it, we are busy professionals on our own right. We all have families. We have significant others, and we're running an entire organization side of desk. And so with that wider context, I think that's probably why, Sandra got some of the pushback that she did, because it was, because she almost had it right? And again, Sandra's a good friend. So let me just say this, right? She almost had it right. Now, how it was couched, I think was the issue, right? It was framed as if it was like a, barbecue in the park organization. But when we contemplate the real work that's happening in the space, right, it just didn't lend well. And it also minimized the importance of those gatherings that we take on. But, again, none of that is like, no malice on my part. We live and breathe this thing, right? You know what I mean? And so, having the organization, represented in a way that isn't consistent with the work that we're actually doing in the space, I could have some grace for that. But I think that's why she felt the pushback that she got, right? Because there's some really good work going on. But Sandra is a good friend and will always be a good friend. So
yeah, and again, no malice. And I as I stated, people have a right to feel how they feel. The response was valid. I don't believe in telling people how they should feel, but I think, as I said earlier, we have to look at the opportunities and stuff like that once the emotions leave. And this is why we're having this conversation today, because it's an opportunity. There's 200 people tuned in live right now.
Awesome.
I can guarantee you there's 200 people across every platform that we're on right now. I can guarantee you many of them did not know a lot of what you're speaking. For those who do know, we're happy for that. But our job is to just create a space where everyone has the opportunity to learn and engage. And audience, if you have any further questions, send them through. Well, I said further, I haven't shared any questions or comments. Send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. But my colleague Larry Marshall Jr., he actually said, especially likes the networking part that he's gained at the events. He said, glad you were able to come on and share about ACRE. Yeah, he actually, always speaks about it. He's like, no, the events are pretty cool, meeting people, networking.
I've seen him.
Yeah,
I've seen him. They're getting in, man. I'm thankful. I'm thankful that he does show up. I'm thankful for everybody that shows up to these events because, to your point, we're nothing without each other, right? And so, it's good to be able to create a space where our community can come together and actually see each other, right? And all our beauty, right? And to have like really high level conversations and also still have a good time, like we're accustomed to doing. And so, it's a pretty special thing when it happens.
it's like I say about Maya, and she's not here, so she shouldn't feel nervous. But the amount of things that people don't see that she does to show you what you do see, you would never see it. And I think that's pretty much sums it up. It's like you might see the rewarding stuff, but you don't see the everything that goes into it. And that's part of the course. It's what happens. But Marlon,
it's part of the course. I mean, even for you and your work, right? Like I know. Like, so you and I sit here, we'll have a good conversation, right? But the amount of research that goes into just presenting this thing to even make it look simple, right? It's the same for every profession. So for Maya, for example, I was watching the videos, and that's like days worth of work to put together, a 2-minute clip, right? Yeah, and so like I appreciate that. Oftentimes it's the iceberg effect, right? It's like we just see the tip of it, but the vast majority of it is underneath the water, right? And that bit that we don't see. So, happy to be able to share.
Correct. We'll go to the audience after. Just one more question before we go to the audience. And again, send your questions through. You explained so much about why ACRE is necessary. You like in the most concise way. If anyone, and I'm not going to pick on a race or a gender, but if anyone just comes along and says, well, why do we need another organization? Why do we need this? People just need to have the qualifications and they'll get the job. Because I'm going to share why I'm asking that. During my last days in working for Bermuda Tourism, there was a white gentleman, really nice guy, and we worked alongside each other. He was part of the industry, but not for tourism. And we were at a conference. They were part of our booth. And he said at the time, we had a CEO, Bill Hanbury, he says, I just don't understand why it has to be focused on race if it's the best person for the job. So my response to this gentleman at the time was, what has the best person for the job traditionally looked like?
Right.
His response, he went quiet for about 5 seconds. He says, oh, I see your point.
Yeah.
Please explain why ACRE is so necessary to avoid the best person for the job scenarios.
Yeah, we actually went through a lot of conversation around that with a variety of stakeholders in the industry, right? And best person for the job is subjective. That's the issue, right? And so if you have 2 candidates, exact same qualifications, but one's name Jamal and one's name Brian, I don't know, pick a name. That's it. Brian normally gets the interview at least, right? And that's not me speaking off the cuff. It's a fact. It's why the industry has moved, or a lot of companies have moved to having like blind resumes where you take the name off it, right? Because people who have Black names, for example, have less success with respect to even getting an interview, right? Regardless of qualifications. And so, best is a subjective term. And like I said earlier, people tend to do what they're comfortable with. I think the best future state, right, would be in a universe where, an organization like ACRE is not necessary. I love for us to be able to do our jobs so well that we don't need it in the future, right? Where the system has enough integrity to police itself. But the reason why it's necessary, because we live we live in a universe as Black people, right? That's very different than our white counterparts, right? It just is. And, you know, they don't live the Black experience. So for example, right, whether you're in the industry or not, if you and I are traveling, right, there's a way that Black people tend to travel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a thing that we do with our voices when we're talking to people in law, like, you know, sort of law enforcement, right? Like, and the world has informed us to do that, right? And so, like, if we go into a restaurant, for example, and we get bad service, you know, it could be any number of reasons why you get bad service. That's a fact, right? But as a Black person, you can never take off the table, am I getting bad service because I'm Black? Right? That's always a consideration. Or if you didn't get the job, did I not get the job because I'm Black, or was there just a better candidate, right? And that exercise, that mental exercise that you have to go through to rationalize your existence in this life and how things play out for you is exhausting for Black people. And white people, by and large, don't live in that space, right? And it's not to say that white people's lives aren't difficult. They are, right? But the question is whether or not is your life difficult because of the color of your skin, right? And that's a really important distinction to make. And so these are the conversations that we've been having, right? And really just bringing people into an awareness of what the Black experience actually is, what it looks like, and how it is our organizations might be contributing to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, man, you said some very impactful things there. And I think that's what it comes down to. I think it really comes down to, it's not saying that white people don't have challenges. Your challenges are different though.
We have a lot of the same challenges as Black people, right? You know what I mean? Like, not all the time white people get the job or they get the promotion. I'm not trying to portray a story like that, right? But if they don't get it, it's never a question of did they not get it because of the color of their skin, right? Where that's always a reality for us, and it spans across everything in our life. It's not just what happens professionally. What happens personally is what happens when I travel. Like I'm leaving Bermuda, man. I'm always randomly selected for, like, you know, some active security search, you know, and it doesn't matter if I'm in Bermuda, in Canada, in Germany, in Australia. It's happened in all of those countries, right? This, you know, I'm a guy, I've never been arrested for anything. Or as Mace would say, never been arrested for anything domestic. You know what I mean? It's like, but it happens, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, what do you chalk that up to? It could be random, you know, but if it happens all the time, then it's not random to me.
Right.
And so, you know, you can never take it off the table, right? And there's a lot of examples like that. But that Black tax that we pay is something that's worthy of being highlighted. And I think the other last thing that bears mentioning on this particular subject, right, around why it's important, because as the terms of diversity have expanded quite a bit, right? Some areas of diversity are more white than others, right? It just is, right? And that's fine, right? But there's a dynamic that exists within that, right? Where, you know, you bring the power of that white voice, that white privilege, to another area of diversity, right? And the effect and impact has been to propel that thing forward. You know what I mean? To leapfrog it over Black issues, right? And that's just something that happens. So, for example, if we look at what happened with George Floyd, right? What happened with George Floyd? You know, that brother was murdered in broad daylight, right? And Black people were up in arms about it, but it really didn't become a global movement until white people got involved, right? When they were as upset about it as we were, right? And the power of their voice turned this thing into a really global movement, right? Where corporately we were having this conversation around D&I, and everyone was looking for D&I specialists, and a lot of Black people in the companies were put to work to try to understand what the Black experience has been, and so on and so forth. A lot of promises and statements were made, and all the rest of it. And we are a few years removed from that event now, right? But, you know, as companies kind of get a little bit more quiet around D&I and what that actually looks like, ACRE's here, you know what I mean, to keep Black issues to the forefront. And so I'm pretty proud of that.
We've got Anika DeShields. Interesting question. Is ACRE only open to insurance professionals?
So ACRE's focused on insurance professionals. We have a number of professionals that show up to our events that are not in insurance, right? But again, going back to my comment around boiling the ocean, right? We're only a handful of us, and we have full-time jobs, and we couldn't possibly take on the issues in banking and the issues in law and the issues in accounting. It would be too much for us. All of us are engaged in the insurance space. And so the answer is kind of yes and no, right? We are definitely focused on insurance and reinsurance, but it is open to people from other disciplines in the financial services industry, right? And that's proven by the career changes and career shifters events that we've had.
Alrighty. Michael Daniels asking, what is the ultimate, I guess, goal for Bermudians in reinsurance?
I mean, it's probably too broad of a question for me to answer, because I can't speak for all Bermudians in the industry. But people, they want an avenue to be able to express their gifts, right? There are a lot of Bermudians doing very well professionally in the insurance and reinsurance space, right? Like personally, I really like portfolio construction and strategy. Those are things that I really like. Those are things that I tend to excel at, and to be able to express that professionally in my life is a wonderful thing. It is also the industry that is the economic engine for our country, right? And so, we should be represented there if that's our desire. Like, if people should be able to go as far as the skills will take them. And so, the ultimate goal will be different for others, but if crassly speaking, it will probably be something along the lines of get there, have a great career, generate good capital, and take that capital and put it into other things outside of the industry. That's probably a broad brush explanation.
All right. Renee Simmons says, an organization such as ACRE is long overdue. It's good to know this organization now exists, as it gives hopes to Blacks actively seeking opportunities in IB, as they never had the privileged resources. One of the things, and he's soon to be retired, and I'll be honest, I don't call names usually, but I will today because of this conversation. But when I was on my quest over the past 2 years doing research and trying to figure out if I should go full-time and operate my company, one of the persons that invited me to their office to chat was Patrick Tannick. And all I knew about Mr. Tannick was that he was a name that people love to drop. Well, if he can do it, anyone can, right? Which I thought was unfair on him, right? But it was an incredible conversation, and I'm not going to share it, but he said some things that made me believe there's hope for Black people in that space, right? Like, I'm not, this Superman, but and he named people coming through. The other person I've spoken to that I had lunch with, Wayne Smith, I believe he's at ABIC. And he also said, look, no, there's some things happening. There are people coming through. Because my concern was, I felt from the outside looking in, my concern was, okay, we've got Black people in these spaces, we've got the fancy titles, but how much influence do we have at the top? Are we, I know in the US, one of the things I saw often was when the George Floyd situation happened, everyone started with, DEI, the organization I was working with as well. And for me, a lot of it seemed like optics. That's what concerned me most about DEI. And I think what you've said today has me actually, and I don't like to be comfortable, feeling confident, I should say, that you're unapologetically moving that needle as an organization. And credit to everyone involved, because it's going to take being unapologetic to actually move that needle. But I want to go to Anika DeShields, because she works in the IB space, I believe. And she said, I've never heard of the association before today. And I want to say this real quickly, Marlon, that I want to go back to Sandra's comments, because I think, again, it goes back to the opportunity to learn, right? If she wouldn't have said what she said last week, right, we probably wouldn't be here having the conversation so quickly. Now, I'm not saying someone needs to go and do a bad deed to learn a good lesson. Let me be very clear in saying that. I don't think, and I'm not defending her because she's my colleague, but I don't think it was that bad. But again, I'm not going to invalidate other people's feelings and say that they shouldn't have felt that way. But without her comment, someone like Anika DeShields, who works in that space, she now knows I can go attend these gatherings as a Black woman and learn how I can, grow in this space. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, man, it could be a lot of positive that comes out of it. Like I said, our approach tends to be, pretty grace-based, right? But, so for Anika, absolutely, follow us on LinkedIn, the Association for Corporate Racial Equity. You can find us there, right? Follow, subscribe, like any other organization. And we post a lot of information there in terms of upcoming events and things that we're doing, things that we hope to do in the future, right? But like I said, we've been around for just about 3.5 years now. We've been pretty public about a lot of the things that we've done. But to your point, there are gaps, man. People can miss it, and it's okay. So yeah, we could take the positive out of some of those events that take place, and there's good things come out of things that start off rather contentious, and that's fine. I'm happy to have that conversation.
Yeah, no worries. And Michelle White says there's nothing more rewarding than being in a space with over 300 Black people and feeling so positive just standing there. Again, well done, ACRE. And I want to say, as she said, Anika DeShields says, this was needed when I was a young accountant. Look, you know what? Honestly, I get you, Anika, all within its time. I'm just grateful, Marlon, that you've had the time to quickly come on, explain, but you just explained where people can go to learn more. They can follow you. What's the final thing you want people to take away more than anything from this conversation today?
Yeah, so ACRE's here, and we are doing really good work, right? And it's a lot of people making a lot of sacrifice to make this a reality. And so we be broadening it and getting people involved in various aspects of it. But you had made a comment earlier about Patrick. So Patrick sits on our advisory along with Malcolm Furbett and William Wharton. I coach for the organization with Neil Pearman, who I believe I was remiss in mentioning his name earlier, and Jasmine De Silva and Deshae Keynes. That's the executive. I do think that there was some sense of tokenism, and sure, those still exist in the world today. But we are pushing people to have authentic conversations, and we are cautiously optimistic. You asked a question earlier about power and what power do people have to make change. It takes credible professionals who are unapologetic about trying to move the needle for Black people. And that's what you have at the helm at ACRE. We are credible in our professions, and we are unapologetic about some of the issues that we face. And, we are taking that professional risk to push this thing forward for people coming behind us. And one day we'll hand the baton off to some other young, sharp professionals to continue pushing it forward. And so, we are cautiously optimistic about the work that we're doing. We've got some good partners and some good allies along with us. And so, we're just doing the best that we can. So, yeah.
All right.
Work alongside us, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And credit to your team. Thank you to all of them. And keep doing the work of the people. Please know that this platform is wide open. Should you guys have anything going on, anything and developments, anything you want to share. But we're grateful to you for making the time on such short notice, Marlon. Have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll be in touch.
You too, man. Appreciate it. Look forward to chatting again.
No problem. Marlon Williams, folks, if you appreciated the conversation, please do what you do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Hey, this is why we exist. Going to take a quick break. Come back. We're going to give the daily play. Someone's going to win something because I don't have a colleague with me today. So stick with us. Again, love, like, follow, share it. Make sure we want as many people knowing the good work that's being done by organizations like ACRE. We'll be back in a minute, 15 seconds to wrap up.
April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Children depend on every single caring adult in our community to make sure they are safe from sexual harm. Keeping them safe not just in April, but every day. Whether you're a parent, a guardian, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, or a caregiver, we ask that you take just 3 hours out of your busy schedule to learn what you can do to make sure the precious children in your life are protected. They are worth it. Join the 13,000 SCARS certified adults by simply visiting our website to sign up for a free SCARS training session. Learn about online and body safety, how to protect them, and how to respond if they are harmed. This information is vital to their well-being and their future. Because they are children, it is our responsibility, Bermuda, to protect them. Visit scarsbermuda.com and learn what you can do to help the child in your life stay safe.
Considering the increasing challenges faced by financial institutions exasperated by market volatility, the need for insurance protection is a critical component of the risk management framework. At Friesenbrook, our priority is to safeguard your assets with the most optimal, cost-effective risk management cover. Therefore, we deliver a full suite of competitive insurance products to protect your business. Call us on 296-3600 to learn more about our broking services.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to Marlon Williams and the team at ACRE for coming on, having a conversation with us this morning. Again, if you appreciated the conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We really, truly appreciate having this open door policy where many of us are able to, have dialogue and engage with this audience. Again, appreciate Sancho for asking the questions. This morning we got the answers. So, we're not responsible for how people perceive what we say, but I understand that what we say sometimes will be perceived in a manner that we may not have meant things. So my hope is that through our differences and perceptions, we get to a place of understanding, and that place of understanding leads us to a place of growth. So I think it's quote day today, right? It's quote day, so we've got to do a quote. You know what? All right, it's time. Thanks again. I haven't even thanked our partners. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can have conversations like what we had today. Definitely appreciate it. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. It's a who said it this morning, all right? A who said it, folks. So the first person to get the answer correctly that shows up on my screen will get the prize, all right? All right, here we go. Here's your quote for the day. Who said this? The greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively. One of the greatest musicians ever. Who said it? We have a winner. Nope, it was not me. Nope, it was not Prince. Stacey Ann Brown, you, my goodness, you just are on point. It was Bob Marley. It was Bob Marley. Congratulations. You are the first name entered into the draw this week. Congratulations to you, Stacey Ann Brown. All right, let's wrap it up today. Again, I want to thank Marlon for coming on. As I said earlier in this show, through disagreement can come an opportunity to learn and educate. We should be allowed to have dialogue. I'm not going to sit here and say people are too sensitive or any of that. People have a right to feel how they feel. They do. But we also have to be open to having conversations if we feel a certain way. As I said earlier, me personally, I am not here to be liked, loved, followed, none of that. I don't care about people showing me faux love on social media. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to have important dialogue that will move our community along, right? And that is my hope for our existence. As far as I just want to touch on earlier before we brought Marlon on the all we did on the weekend, folks, if ever you're looking for some things to do, we're going to do our best going forward to share what's happening in Bermuda, because there's a lot to do. There are things happening, and we are a small island, but we're a creative people. We're creative people. So props to the Kristen Whites, the BTA, Lily Bermuda, Denny Down Whitehorse, the end-to-end, like everything that Maya, myself, the wellness event she spoke at, everything we were a part of. We are grateful and thankful that we had the opportunity to be a part of it. And we're looking forward to doing some of this stuff with our audience. So if any of you want to go and make some perfumes with us, just make sure you're a TDH member, you're signed up, and because the classes are small, it's going to be first come, first serve basis. So we're going to be doing some of that stuff with the audience, some really cool activities. So just make sure you're subscribed to our website and you engage with us. All right. All that to say, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Well, let me give you the daily inspiration. It's what we already told you. That Bob Marley quote. All right. That's your daily inspiration. The greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively. So, folks, move with integrity today, tomorrow, always. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Windows, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. I am out. Peace.